let's now welcome Thokozile Madonko, researcher at the Southern Center for Inequality Studies and Public Economy Projects based at Wits University, to give us more insight on these news. Thokozile, great having you with us. Welcome. So what do you make of the Basic Education Minister's fact-finding mission across our schools? Do you think this drive will actually assist in eradicating some of the current as well as ongoing challenges at some of our schools?
I think it's absolutely critical that our ministers get onto the ground, visit the schools, engage with teachers, with scholars. I mean, I think that can only help to get a better sense of what's really happening. But I do think we need to have a very honest conversation about what's going on with basic education.
Mm-hmm. And some have actually criticized this initiative and said it's just going to be like the normal over-budgeted campaigns that actually become talk shops with no real results. So what do you make of this, Thokozile?
I think, it's hard not to be skeptical, but at the moment, the minister and also the MECs, for that matter, in the provinces have come out, and the language is very much things are difficult, fiscal constraints, which is just another word for budget cuts, this euphemism of do more with less. So essentially, they're telling us that the situation is really bad, but they're not telling us how they're going to resolve it. To do more with less with children is not good enough. You need to provide them with quality infrastructure. You need to provide them with quality teachers. You need to provide them with safe scholar transport. You need to provide them, if they have disabilities, with extra support. So this idea that we can do more with less is extremely, extremely concerning and should not be said at all in relation to the right to education. And so this brings me to the point that many organizations, including Equal Education, have been calling for a real rethink about how basic education, and that includes early childhood development, is being funded and should not be funded on the backs of teachers that are overburdened, because often what to do more with less means is that we are going to make what little we have do a lot more work, which puts them under pressure, which puts them under stress, which creates an environment which is not conducive for learning. And so we need to have a look at how we're funding basic education overall and what that means for, in particular, the different provinces and their specific provincial needs like Gauteng or Western Cape or KZN or Limpopo.
Quite serious issues, aren't these, of course, Thokozile, because, the funding issue and the budgetary cuts, and we've seen, of course, the union SADTU there going on a campaign just this previous week, of course, going against the proposed budgetary cuts pertaining to staff appointments as well within the sector. So these are some serious issues that before the minister can actually look at issues of, the criteria that the school actually accepts children into should be looked at. Exactly.
And what is happening is there's overall in the fiscus, we have what's being implemented, what we call a core spending limit. So what has happened is that we've been told this is the amount of money that we will have government spending in the economy. And then we look at the budget to see what has been set out. What are the choices that are being made in order to achieve our constitutional responsibilities, other developmental goals? And while education appears to be prioritized, when you actually scratch under the surface, you will see that what is in fact being prioritized is debt repayments. We have some of the most expensive debt repayments, as well as tax breaks. So there are some very innovative ways that we could be creating the cake that's needed to enable us to do more and to provide more for the needs of our young people in this country. And so we need to look at both what government is doing and wants to achieve, how they're wanting to achieve it, and where they're achieving it. And so when we see, MEC saying we have to cut scholar transport to save teachers' positions, we are now getting into a point where we are making impossible trade-offs because, your students need to be able to get to school. So it's not good to have teachers there, but no students, or students having to take precarious transport. And then it's no good to have no teachers with, classrooms filled with 60 students. They're not going to be able to deliver quality education, or goods and services like learner support material. So every single step of the picture, and well remunerated, well looked after public servants is in fact an economic imperative. It helps drive our economy. So this narrative that the public sector wage bill is a cost is absolute nonsense. It's actually a benefit to our economy. Those employees, those teachers engage in economic activity. They buy cars, they buy houses, they buy food. And so they have a role to play in the economy, and they're green jobs. They're not high carbon jobs as well. So when we're talking about our industrial policy, for example, basic education becomes an important component of that in terms of what it can bring to the economy. And it brings jobs, and it brings decent jobs, and it brings green jobs, and it enables a future of wealth taken care of young people going forward. So education is core to our economic strategy. So to have our per learner spending cut is to tell us that we don't see this as an economic imperative. Something else is going on, and that is the serious conversation, an honest conversation we need to have.
Absolutely, Thokozile. I mean, education, basic education, of course, being the core, as well as initial steps towards being an active consumer in those in the markets. You need to have actually been to school. So, in light of the recently signed, albeit partially signed, bill, do you think that our current education system then needs a serious and total overhaul in terms of equality in all aspects? I know you've mentioned a few things from language to uniform to basic rights like your proper as well as dignified safe toilets, well-resourced libraries, as well as extramural activities that are provided across our schools.
Absolutely. It's almost like a failure of imagination to see how core the education system is to our economy and our social fabric, in fact. So having children accessing quality services, quality teachers, enables us to think about our future, how we want to navigate climate change, navigate the fourth industrial revolution, whatever it might be. In order to be able to really invest in our future, we need to invest now. And we do that by saying we prioritize our teachers, we prioritize our schools, and we prioritize, at the end of the day, our young people in our society, and enable them to have access to quality services and opportunities.
Thank you so much. Great insight there with Thokozile Madonko, Public Economy Projects at Wits.